I'm Courtney, and I'm the founder of Confused to College Ready. With over 15 years experience as a mental health therapist turned school counselor, I am bringing my experience and expertise to help you navigate the college search experience. My goal is to serve students and their families and unlock the secrets to college searching. Stay tuned. How do I find a college for me? Is there a right college for my student? How many colleges should actually be on our list? If you've asked one of these questions or similar questions, this episode is for you. Today, we're going to talk about the key considerations in your student's college search. Is there a number of schools that's too many? How do you have a good balance? And other things. Stay tuned. Hey there, I'm Courtney. I am the founder of Confused to College Ready, and I want you to know that you are not alone in the college search. There are many people who are there to support you at school and different resources like this podcast, articles, and websites. With Confused to College Ready consultations, I want to let you know that we can meet to find the right fit school for your student. We're going to look at the top college for your student and your comfort level. Make sure that we know what your strengths, students, and interests are, and even help you avoid the mistakes that you aren't even aware of. If you would like to set up a free 15-minute coaching call, you can go to our website for a free consultation. It's confusedtoready.com/C2CR free coaching. It's also linked in the show notes, and I would love to touch base with you. All right, let's get started. So as we start with looking at how do I find the right college for me or for my student, for those of you that are moms or dads who are listening, it is incredibly important to start with some conversations as a family. And one of the big things is looking at cost. And if you have listened to any of the episodes that we have done on cost as far as your family contribution or scholarships, financial aid, looking at the actual full cost of attendance. I actually did a live on this just the other day. So if you have not watched that, you can go to our YouTube channel, to our Facebook page or Facebook group. Everything is Confused to College Ready, and watch that. And I give some really helpful information about what to look at as far as cost, scholarships, and all of those pieces. But having that conversation as a family so that you know going into your search, what can we afford? What can we realistically afford going in, and being able to look at developing your college list based on that cost. Another big component to that is going to be the distance. So how far away is the school going to be as you are looking to find a college for me or your student? And we want to make sure that if your student is someone who's more of a homebody and it is something where you think they're going to want to be home more often, we absolutely want to make sure that they are closer to home instead of across the entire country. And if they are someone who they are ready to travel and ready to go, just having those conversations of what's it going to look like when it's Thanksgiving or Christmas and the winter holiday or spring break. What is it going to look like as far as your student being able to return? And also another thing as far as that cost goes, what do you do with all of their things, especially if they're in an apartment and they have furnished that apartment? What do you do with those things over that break when it's time for them to come home? All of those are important things to consider. Now, I will say, I don't know about you all, but sometimes when you are planning big events, a marriage, if you're planning a wedding, if you are having a baby, if there are big things that are going on, sometimes it feels like that's all you ever talk about and that rules everything. And that can feel overwhelming for us as adults, let alone for our teenagers, that maybe they're just wanting to enjoy, their mindset is they just want to enjoy their time in high school and not have to focus so much on what's going on in college. And I would encourage you to take time and make time to talk, and maybe set up a time to meet when you can talk as a family and say, okay, this is when we're going to focus our time on that college search. Outside of this, we're not going to talk about it. You could have a Google spreadsheet or an Excel spreadsheet where you kind of have some talking points. And so every single meeting, every single time you come together, these are the things we need to talk about. These are action items. And then if you remember something that's important to talk about, add it to that list. Everyone has steps that they need to take. And then after that, you're able to jump in, have the conversation, and then the rest of your time can be more focused on every day and living in the moment. So having those conversations as you look at the key factors is such an important thing. The next part that I want to talk to you about is looking at what are the important factors for your student. And I actually did 2 episodes, episodes 62 and 63, where we dove into some really in-depth detail of 7, I believe it was 7, if I'm remembering right. Yes, 7 different factors that are important for you to consider as you are looking at colleges. Some of those are things like your how, like we said, distance, looking at what are some of the specific requirements that your student wants to have as far as a major. If you are wanting to major in marine biology, being in the middle of the desert out in the Midwest or out west, not necessarily going to be the best thing. So looking at location, looking at the size of the school, looking at the different support services that are available, looking at how selective the college is. Are there certain activities that it's important for your student to be part of? Is the major there? Do they have that potential career that your student is interested in? Do they even have that on that campus? And then what is the affordability of that school? So in episode 62 and 63, I actually go into a lot more detail about each of those different pieces. So here's the thing. The other question that I get is, but Courtney, we don't even know. We don't know where to start. We don't know what to do. Great point. And when you are just starting out, you're not necessarily going to know all of those things. Sometimes it's a matter of, all right, we're going on vacation and we're driving 3 hours away. And on the way, there is a college that we will pass by. And with that college, we want to have a conversation and be able to say, okay, let's drive through there. Even if it's not a school that your student even remotely wants to go to, this is the time where you can drive through just to see what the campus looks like. Is this somewhere that this similar size of campus? Could I see myself there? Is there something on this campus that I really, really like and I want to have that at my new school? Looking at websites, looking at just the different resources that are available to you, especially if the college is going to be a ways off, a long distance away from where you are. So there are multiple opportunities and resources. The other thing is consider the weather. So I lived in Michigan for 15 years. I lived in Indiana. I lived in Ohio. I know what it's like with snow and gray weather and all of those different pieces. Now I live in South Carolina. Well, the weather in South Carolina is not the same as what we had in Michigan. In Michigan, it was gray and dreary, and I loved the time that I lived up there, but I really enjoy the warm weather that we have down here and having the sun more often. So for me, I like to make sure I never want students to think that I would try to influence them in any one way or another. But thinking about those factors is a really important thing. This isn't a perfect process. It's not expected to be perfect, and there's not a perfect college. There is a college that is the right fit for your student, though. And it's all about finding which college is going to be the right one. I think as parents, a lot of the times we put this pressure on ourselves. If my student doesn't go to the right college, then we're going to end up, they're never going to have the major that they want, and they're never going to get the job that they want. And if they don't do, they're not going to meet their future partner. And then am I ever going to have grandchildren and all of those different things? It's not a perfect process, and there's not a perfect college. So take a breath and know that we can come up with an amazing list to be able to support your student and make sure that it's well balanced. So again, if that's something that you would like to talk more with me about, you can send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. Just send me the message, find a college. And you also can sign up for that free consultation for 15 minutes. And I'd love to talk through your pressing questions with you. It's confusedtoready.com/C2CR free coaching. All right. So the things that we've talked about, we talked about family conversations. We also have talked about the different factors that you need to consider. The next thing I want to talk about is looking at college fairs and tours and then different search engines. So this is another topic, the college fairs. I actually spent some time the other day going live on Facebook and Instagram, or I'm sorry, Facebook and YouTube, and talked about college fairs, what those look like, what can actually happen. We had a college fair, our school took a tour to a college fair, and we had students who actually were offered admission to colleges on the spot. They went to an HBCU college fair, so a historically Black college and university college fair, and they were offered admission on the spot, and some of them were even offered scholarships on the spot. So college fairs can be a fantastic thing. So one of the places to start is looking at your school and do they have any resources that are available for you? Some districts will use Naviance, some will use SCORE or a different system. College Board's Big Future also has a fantastic search engine. Here's a little pro tip. If you did not know, College Board also has in a student's junior and senior year their Opportunity Scholarship. So there are micro scholarships that students can complete tasks to be entered in the drawing for those. They also have a large scholarship at the end that if you've completed all 6 or 7 of those tasks, they will actually enter you into a drawing for, I think it's $30,000 or $40,000. So it is a significant chunk of money. So looking at Naviance, looking at anything that your school system has, College Board's Big Future, collegeexpress.com is another website that I really like. And so when you are going to those websites, you're entering in information about what your students, you can enter GPA, you can enter major, you can enter the state that you want to look in, you can enter in test scores. And so you can have a list of colleges that might fit what you're looking for. And it is any of the, you don't need to pay for a college search on a website by any means. That is, there are plenty of free resources that are out there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is college fairs. So there are 2 different websites. NACAC is, and I talked about this in the live the other day, it's the National Association of College Admission Counselors. And if you go to their website, or if you just do a Google search, excuse me, for NACAC College Fairs, you will find their website. I will also link it in the show notes below. And you can find different college fairs that are available for you, both virtual and face-to-face. And the other website is collegefairguide.com. This is all going to be linked in the show notes so that you have access to it. But these are places that you can learn about local college fairs that are close to you, and you can find out where, what opportunities you might be interested in. Some of the fairs will even have different presentations from speakers where you're learning about financial aid, or you're learning about the Common Application, or there are different what to do to get started in your search. So going on tours, and we've got multiple episodes that talk about that as well, and different questions for your college tours. So I would encourage you to go back and find those. And then you have Naviance, College Board. So lots and lots of resources, and I will link those in the show notes too. All right, so we have talked about your having those family conversations, looking at the important factors, talking about college fairs, tours, and looking at search engines. Excuse me. And then the last thing I want to talk about is really just learning from other people. Now, this doesn't mean that I want you to compare yourself or compare your student or have your student compare themselves to others. And it also does not mean that you have to do what everybody else is doing. But when you have someone who has gone through it before, or your friends or colleagues with parents of a student who is already at a certain college, that's a really great place to learn from them about what their search has been like, what that college experience has been like, talking with teachers, talking with counselors. There are plenty of opportunities. You are always welcome to reach out to me if you want to talk through some questions, just to be able to figure out what is it that other people have seen in their college search. And in this particular college, or in any of the colleges, because we don't know yet, what is it that they are looking for, and or that they have learned and that they can teach you as you learn what you are looking for. So I hope this has been helpful. I, as always, am here to be able to support you. I look forward to hearing more about your journey, and I hope that you have a great day. If you would please leave me a review on the podcast. If there are specific topics you want me to cover, send me an email, admin@confusedtoready.com. I look forward to talking with you next time. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Confused to Ready, and download our free guide on how to start or expand your college search at confusedtoready.com/how to start.